he's always there. He's like, oh, they're gonna meditate soon, so I better be around. Welcome to the first lesson on meditation. Let's start with, my whole goal with this whole series, or whatever I'm doing ever, is to just show you how easy things are. Anything that you thought was hard was actually very easy. The hard part comes from somewhere else, but that we will talk about in a different series. So meditation is very easy, and it's also hard in a way that when you're not used to it and you have certain expectations of how it's supposed to go, you keep comparing and getting frustrated, or whatever kind of other reason you can have. So let's start with what you might need to start meditation practice. Nothing special, really nothing special. You don't have to sit like this to meditate. You can just sit on a chair. In fact, if you're doing a grounding meditation, it can be even more beneficial to be sitting upright in a chair rather than having your legs tucked in, because groundedness will also come from your feet touching the floor. So there is no right position to do meditation, but there are certain things that you have to keep in mind to not, what's the word? I don't want to be dramatic, like to not injure yourself. Neither meditation or yoga are designed to make you uncomfortable or to encourage you push through. You never should push through anything. You have to be respectful of your body and listen to it. So one first thing you have to make sure of is that you're comfortable before you start your meditation. It's okay, take your time. You have to be comfortable while you're meditating. And it's not so much because your mind is going to keep going to that uncomfortable thing. Maybe you have like a little bit of a pain in the lower back, or maybe you're sitting on a very hard floor, so you have your bones like in pain because of the pressure you're putting on your feet. Just avoid any of that. For your comfort, you can use whatever you have at home. You don't need any special meditation cushions, no special equipment. So you can use just like a throw pillow from your sofa. Pillows of any size, because you also need to experiment with what it is that works best for you. You can use just a blanket, and you fold it however many times. Like if you fold it this many times, it's that height. If you fold it double, then it's higher. So you just experiment with what height of the cushion you're sitting on is best, what the softness is best. Do you want to have a cushion under your feet as well? Make sure to not have your feet higher than your sitting bones, but you can put something soft under your legs and under your feet so you are more comfortable. Right now I'm sitting on a big cushion actually. Just make sure that your sitting bones are either on the same level with your feet, but better a bit higher, especially if you're just starting and you don't have a lot of stretch and a lot of back support. Having your sitting bones low will might incur you having a little bit of a strain in the back. So in that case, what you can do is either put a cushion under your butt, you just sit on the cushion so you're a little bit higher. Or also what you can do, I'm not going to do it here because I have a tree behind me, but you sit against the wall or against your bed or against any vertical surface. And also you can put this cushion behind you between your back and the wall. So then you have the support for your back. You don't lean backwards. That's another point, very important, that while you meditate, for best results, your back, your spine should be upright. It shouldn't be curved in either direction. It shouldn't be leaning forwards or backwards. And it's not like a hard rule that if you do something against the rule, then you're wrong. No. Just anytime that you notice that maybe you're leaning sideways a little bit because your legs are in a different height, then what you do is like, okay, maybe this leg is a bit higher and I'm trying to overcompensate. So I put a little cushion under the leg. You can put them under both of your legs actually to feel more relaxed if you have a little bit of a strain in your ligaments. I forgot the word for this one. So make sure you're completely comfortable and try to keep your spine erect and really vertical. What that creates is like the flow of energy is going from the ground through your spine and to the universe. Whatever your beliefs are, I'm not trying to tell you that God has created Earth, hasn't created Earth, there is a higher power or not. We're just trying to do the practice, right? And for the best practice, it's really good when your spine is vertical. If you want a more circular explanation, is you have your nerve going through the spine, and when your spine is vertical, the nerve is kind of hanging freely inside the tube. When you start leaning somewhere or like slouching a little bit, then nerve starts hitting the side of the spinal tube, spinal cord touching the spinal tube, right? And you don't want to have that. You want everything to be like as effortless as possible and as free of pressure as possible. So that's why having your back being very straight and vertical is good. Okay? So that was sorted out. You arrange your cushions, you just take what you have. It doesn't even have to be a blanket, it can be a towel, it can be just a sweater, whatever it is that you can fold together and make some kind of cushion and see how you can make yourself comfortable. Then you're ready to go. Another point, it's very important, is that meditation varies. Like there are so many types of meditation, I'm not going to go into it. So some of the meditations are there to achieve like a higher state, so you literally feel high and connected, kind of like on shrooms or something. Then you can have a meditation that aims at removing the thoughts, for example, right? Or another meditation that aims at you being as present within the body as possible. And basically every meditation kind of does all of those, but just in a different proportion, right? So if you have a certain focus on a certain thing you want to achieve, then you look for a suitable meditation for that and how you can more effectively achieve the state you're looking for, right? But what is important, especially when you're just starting out and you don't really know what you're looking for, or you're just looking for peace or more relaxation and more enjoyment just of your life path, the most important part is that you do not have expectations or do not have a standard you're comparing yourself against. So one of the very big things, I think, that kind of has the first place and the reasons why people don't meditate or stop meditating very early, don't continue, because they think they're doing it wrong, or they experience a certain physical discomfort or pain. And none of those should need to be there. So when you're starting your meditation and you're starting looking inwards, especially first times, not just one time. It can be like for a month. It doesn't matter. There is no time frame for that. But as you're starting out, your brain and your thoughts kind of get start unfolding in front of you. And of course, everybody's gonna have different experience, but it's very likely that you're gonna feel like when you are meditating, you have more thoughts than when you're not meditating. And why that happens is because when you're not meditating, you're not fully present in the moment, or you're constantly engaged in various distractions. So you can feel like you are not so busy in your head. And what meditation is gonna gradually do for you is that first it will help you be aware of where you're at, whether it is physically, whether it is environment, whether it is your thoughts, your emotions, your physical state, as in like health and your body processes. And after you become aware of it, it gives you power to change it whichever way you want. It also not a like step-by-step process, right? It's all fluid, it's all in the flow. At some point you feel this, at some point you feel that. This you can change already right now, this you don't have to change. So don't cling to any kind of idea that it has to be a certain way, so you don't judge yourself or the process later for not being the way you imagined it to be, right? It's good to have positive expectations, but they don't have to be rigid. It's like, instead of being, oh, I'm gonna get happy after I meditate 10 times, and if I don't, then I stop. That's a rigid expectation, and you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, and and it's not that you're not gonna feel better after 10 times, but you're gonna it's because it's a progression of some sort, even if it triggers some bad quote unquote things, right, like overwhelmed with thoughts or something, it's still the step in the direction of happiness and peace, and you cannot skip that step. So having taken it, you already feel better, or you are doing better because you have taken it, right? So a better expectation to set would be, every time I get closer to my peace, every time I feel more centered, every time I expect feeling better, and I know that every time I meditate, I get closer to my true potential. Those are good expectations to set because they're flexible, they're kind of universal, and they put you in the like receptive mode rather than being defensive or a little bit like scared and unsure. You're telling your body and you're telling your brain that you know it's going to be good for you, because you do know that it is good for you. But anything that is good, you can always make it appear or feel bad, right? If you have certain reservations or certain experiences or beliefs, right? But I'm not going to go there. So set some nice flexible expectations / affirmations for the process to be smoother if you want to, or just don't set any expectations and be in a state of allowance and being kind of curious. Oh, interesting, what's gonna do for me? So that would be also really nice. So to recap, we have to have our spine upright. We have to be comfortable at all times. Never push through anything. Don't injure yourself in any kind of way, even a small way. Even when you do exercise, you shouldn't be having sore muscles. That's an injury. So everything grows gradually, right? And what another one? Don't have expectations that it has to be a certain way. There is no certain way. Everybody is a different person. So everybody has their own path and their own experience with anything and everything, as well as meditation. So that's that. Thank you for listening. Let's continue and let's go to the next lesson where we're gonna learn the first meditation practice that you're gonna be practicing for the next week.